tonight is our peer review for task 1 for the CAAP.
And I have reviewed Debbie's CAAP 1. Debbie was excellent as always. And I wrote, it's not in your template, but I wrote in your email how, what a good job you did on making it concise and just to the point. I thought that was really good. Content, I said that the task content was aligned with course content. Evidence provides research-based facts regarding areas of climate empowerment and leadership. Evidence provides information from program content to support real-world data. So like where you quoted John Hattie and other research that you've done throughout our coursework all along and applied that to what you were talking about in the different elements of your paper, I thought that was a real strength. And then where it says using the language of the rubric, examine the text for areas of strength. I put that strengths were multiple data sources and comparison across results. So like the fact that you went back to like from 2020 teacher working condition survey, 2018 and 2016 and compared across those timelines. I thought that was really strong. You use those results to identify trends, to identify improvements and areas of decreased satisfaction among your staff. I like that you put opinions of your team members when you were talking about going through data with your needs assessment and you shared what different team members felt was important or how they felt about certain things and then how you all collaborated to reach a decision. Where it talked about weaknesses, of course, it was very difficult to even consider a weakness. I read in your resources section where you talked about making like grants and other funding resources, making that more accessible to teachers or making them aware of it so that they knew that there were other places they could find funding for instructional materials because it is so regimented by the district. But I thought maybe that could be a way to make teachers feel more empowered is if they could have commentary on the budget and how it's what you do have control over at school, how it's being spent. And I know there's probably not a lot of room there, but maybe if they, and I know it's probably even
well, and in the teaching working condition survey, that was our lowest area, is that they wanted more control over the budget, but it just doesn't warrant it because the principal makes that. So it's really hard. She allows them, she gives them money and then they can split it up, you know, like they want. So that's how they have a say in it, but they don't really have a say in, you know, this much goes to fund, you know, fund 6. They don't have, she doesn't do that.
And that was a low one on ours too. And the only thing I put as a way to address it was, and this was actually in the skip, was inviting teachers and having like a PD about school budget so they can see more about where it comes from and how little control there is over it. And I didn't put that in yours.
That's a good suggestion though.
But just seeing there just really isn't very much room. And then leadership, I said that was demonstrated through the facilitation of team, your facilitation of the team, communicating data, providing information. You talked several times about having to refocus the group when they got kind of on a tangent or things got personal with like people they were frustrated with or areas they were frustrated with. And then also going back and providing a summary to the team of things that you guys had decided on, recommendations you made as a group. So I thought that was very strong leadership. And I won't go through all the mechanics and stuff because of time. So it was great.
Thank you. Let me do yours, Carly.
You can. Alrighty. I'll go last if you want.
Okay. On content, I said, yes, the task content is aligned with the course content. It's apparent that the teachers at Giffin's feel empowered and respected due to the high percentages of positive responses and the growth between 18 I need to change it, 18 and 20 on the teacher working condition survey. I thought you did a really good job on that of visualizing that. You wrote it in your narrative, but you also visualized it on your charts by using your figures and all of that. So I thought that was really good because it really helped me, because a lot of times, like when you're reading stuff, it's easier to spot it on a chart. You did a really good job with that. And you used a variety of different charts too. I didn't put that in the statements, but because it really didn't fit, but I just wanted to let you know that I thought that was really good, a good use of your data and your information. And I did mention that it does appear that there could be improvements in the area of facilities. I think that was probably your lowest area, because it seems like there's so many good things going on at Githens from all the data that you've collected. There's a lot of great things going on. So it's really hard for you to find areas of improvement. So I thought you did a really good job with pinpointing the facilities issues, and the recommendations that you made for facilities were really good. I thought that was a really good suggestion. I might have to steal that as an AP one day, hopefully, because I thought that was really good. I like the way you kind of filled that into your recommendations. As far as rubric strength, I said the candidate completed a thorough analysis of the 5 areas and provided appropriate data to support the findings. A needs assessment was created based on the results and included all of the required components. There was an appropriate analysis, and recommendations were based on the findings of the needs assessment. And here again, you did a really good job of also compartmentalizing everything, and it was very straight and to the point. There wasn't a lot of fluff, but it didn't need to be any fluff. You basically said what you had to say, and it was very concise. So I thought you did a really good job with that. The only thing that I could even come up with, and I don't even know if you can incorporate this, but I just said in describing your school community, I said you may want to add some basic facts about your school to give a clearer picture of the educational environment. Like maybe just give a little bit, like maybe your total population, break down your demographics a little bit, maybe something like that, just to give a little bit more information about your school community. That was the only thing I could really say that maybe you could even include. I don't know that you need to, but it just seemed like that might be something you could add. And then the last thing was leadership. I said you showed leadership in your narrative by describing how you formulated your team and the steps that the team took to prepare the needs assessment. It was also evident that as a leader, you prepared the data ahead of time for review by the team, and you facilitated the conversations around the 5 areas. So once again, I felt like you always show very high levels of leadership. Your paper was really, really good. I enjoyed reading it. I mean, it was really interesting. It gave me a lot of ideas that I'm going to steal from you one day, especially your recommendations. I just thought your recommendations were spot on. So you did a really good job.
Debbie. Thank you, Debbie.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Jennifer, I completed your peer review. You did a fabulous job as always. I want to begin by going over my review of your content. And the feedback I provided was the candidate's narrative and artifact aligned with the course content and the rubric requirements outlined in the accomplished range. Throughout the climate analysis, the candidate clearly and frequently referenced data obtained from the North Carolina Teacher Working Conditions Survey and your internal survey that you created in regard to teacher empowerment. And you use this information to examine the effectiveness of your school practices under the areas of teacher empowerment, leadership, facilities, resources, and time very efficiently and effectively. As far as overall strengths, you did a great job of using various sources of school data to identify strengths and opportunities for growth. At HES, you also provided detailed background knowledge of external factors and newly implemented practices that contribute to the change in the school climate, such as your transition to virtual learning and the installation of your new leadership at your school. Performance and identify areas of weakness, namely the technology resources. As far as weaknesses, the only things that I pretty much proposed was you might want to include specific data points